Thank you. Thank you for the privilege of being here and for your introduction. There is a very, very deep connection between changing our mindset and our future, as has been described. And I think we need to understand very well about the energy of thoughts and how precious that energy is. Everything begins with a thought. Any invention, any action, any good work, it begins with a thought. It begins in our minds. How am I using my mind? And when we think about a mindset, the mindset is the lens through which we create thoughts. The mindset is connected to our inner beliefs. And so, for example, if I have the belief that, yes, I have a right to dominate over creatures and the earth and the elements, then my mindset is going to be one of exploitation. If I have a belief that, well, we are part of nature, we must live symbiotically with nature, then of course my thoughts and my whole attitude will be one of respect and one of regard and one of non-harm, non-violence, non-harm. And so also the intention behind our actions, that denotes the quality of our actions. And it's very easy to become angry. And of course, in the world today, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of violence, and that leads to a resistance and ultimately to more violence, to a cycle of violence. If we perform the same acts that we may perform with anger, if we perform those acts with love and with compassion, then it becomes not just activism, but it becomes sacred activism, born out of those internal values. And actually that is much, much more effective in bringing about change. When we also look within and think about the resources that we have inside, our inner resources also help to shape the future. For example, if I think about greed and ego, which is so prevalent in today's world, then that will lead, and fear, that will lead to one kind of future. If I think about the wisdom that I have inside, and I use that wisdom, that can shape another kind of future. So there's a very deep connection between our inner consciousness and the outer expression and what we see in the world. In fact, we're talking about here the confluence of two living systems, the living system of thoughts and the living system of the earth. And Christiana Figueres, who of course was one of the main people with the Paris Agreement, she wrote recently about there being two doors. And we could go through one door that will really lead to a climate catastrophe. Or we could go through another door which could lead to, again, the flourishing of our earth. And so it really is up to us to make that choice. And so our mindset, our intentions, and the quality of our actions then really will make a difference as to which door it is that we choose and what the future will then be. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maureen. And yes, it's a detailed explanation how consciousness can shape the future. And there is so much more to say on that topic. We will open time for questions, but to make sure we have time for meditation, I'd like to take the meditation first. So I'll ask Maureen to guide a 2-minute meditation so we can all relax and then we take questions.
So yes, relax and just take a deep breath or two and become really present here in the room. Let me leave the distractions outside and let me be here with myself. Let me go inside and discover the beauty of my inner world and discover the treasures within the being, the real self, the treasure of peace, the treasure of love, the treasure of wisdom. As I allow these treasures to grow inside of me and I begin to use them, they begin to motivate my actions. I begin to make a difference. I create a loving and peaceful atmosphere in this world so that humanity and all of nature can again return to its original state of peace and love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. I'm sure you enjoyed short silence in the middle of this noisy place. So is there anyone like to ask any questions or have any comments or? Yes, Caitlin, yeah. You have to speak up. Oh, you get a microphone. Very good.
Hi, Caitlin Hughes, Executive Director with Solar Cookers International, and I just wanted to say thank you for your presentation. And the question for Golo, what do you find most rewarding or inspiring about the work that you've done with solar thermal?
Well, I found most rewarding when you have an idea initially, and you know, it's like a flash which comes in your mind, something new, and then there are so many problems and hurdles, and after quite some time, finally it becomes reality, and that I found most rewarding. You know, that's very satisfactory, and I was very lucky. I had these ideas about solar systems, and somehow I was lucky that they came true. So that was very rewarding, very satisfactory. And also, of course, to create something which is clean and which helps poor people also to cook. We distributed also thousands of solar cooking boxes, solar lanterns, some of them free of charges to the poor people. And it's very satisfactory to see how poor people can use these gadgets. They have a clean means to cook. They have a clean energy source in the night for light, for cooking purpose. This is also very rewarding to help the poor to have a better life. So these two things, they were very satisfactory and rewarding.
Thank you. This question came from Solar Cooker, which has been our friends and partners since many years. Okay. And you were at the back there with the blue shirt? Yeah. He was first.
Thank you very much. I'm on the advisory committee for the Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. My name is John Liu. I founded the Ecosystem Restoration Camps movement. There are more than 55 ecosystem restoration camps around the world. I think they would love and benefit from your meditation practices and also from your energy things. And I'd just like to tell you that there's a convergence now between ecological restoration and the food crisis, which is coming, and that if you're interested, it would be very, very good if you would direct your attention to the concept of creating central kitchens and creator spaces and cultural stages to help communities to feed themselves. World Food Program is now finding that if they get 100% of the pledges for the monies for the people who will be affected by the predicted famine, since the major wheat is not going to come from Ukraine and Russia, then they can only feed half of the people who are ill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your suggestion. We will connect to you after if you stay, and we'll talk more about this suggestion. And then we have a question from the lady here.
Is it working? Yeah. Hi, my name is Elisa. I'm a project manager in a tech company, and I'm also a yoga teacher. My question is for Maureen. As a woman and as a spiritual person, what are the main blockages that you're finding at the UN level in bringing on this concept of the climate crisis really being stemmed from a spiritual crisis? And what would be your advice to a person like me who's working in sustainability and trying to bring on this concept at a company level, but also as a youth level? Just some words of wisdom from your experience.
Big question. Well, first of all, I really so appreciate the energy of the young people here, and I think this is a real movement for the future, and the first time we have a youth and children's pavilion, which is great. I think still at the government level, there isn't really a very clear understanding of these things, of the relationship between the deep human factors and climate change. And I always feel that in this sort of work, it's important to look for those individuals who really do have that understanding. And those individuals are there. They may not be very obvious, but they are there. And working with individuals in this way can be the way in which we can bring this voice to the table. It's not easy, but I don't see another way as yet. But one thing that is happening is that the voice of faith-based organizations is coming more to the fore, and so there have been calls to UNCCC from Talanoia Dialogue, which brought faiths together at the beginning. So whatever way we can, we're trying to do this communication, but we also need to reach out with our good, pure vibrations. That's very important.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you. As the other two panelists had a chance for a question, I wonder if Kenneth has a final comment or something, 1 minute you'd like to share?
One of the best solutions to climate change is that we change our mindset. Thank you.
Thank you. Very direct and very clear. So thank you very much to the three panelists and to you for your questions and being here, and we work together. I'd like to make two announcements for other programs we have. Tomorrow, there is the first side event for Global Interfaith Youth Action. And that's at 11:30 in room Tutankhamun. And then actually Thursday night, that's the 17th, we have a meditation cultural event in the Cryosphere Pavilion at 7:30. So that's the last evening of COP and time to chill out. So thank you, all of you, and good afternoon.